Let's start recording. All right, fantastic, guys. Okay, we are live on Facebook. Great. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me mute the line here in the back. Make sure everybody is good. All right, well, here we are again for a Monday night trading live here. Guys, this is Team Wealth Builders. We're a part of I Am Mastery Academy. For those of you who's on Facebook, welcome for joining us here for our call tonight. We do this every Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Standard Eastern Time. And welcome to all my guests that decided to come on the call, guys. I'm so excited. This is 2020, so we're starting this brand new year off. Again, trading as a family, and I'm loving it. So we have some hefty goals here to get people over the 6- and 7-figure mark through Forex trading. So tonight's class, we're going to be talking about properly setting up your MetaTrader 4 application, of course, which is going to be your platform that you trade your foreign exchange and cryptocurrency off of. And then we're going to talk about just making sure we properly set up templates, if that's the case. And then we're going to take a little Q&A after that, just anything open to trading. And then we're actually going to look at some trades, and hopefully if our MetaTrader 4s are set up right, then we can go ahead and look at some potential trade setups to get in and make some actual money. Of course, I do want to put the disclaimer out that past performance does not dictate or promise or guarantee future gains, okay? And so please trade at your own risk. Please make sure that you get a solid education and information for your trading. And I encourage everybody, if you're not trading live, please trade in your demo account, because this is for educational purposes only. Okay, so great to say that. So guys, another thing I want to say, this is totally interactive. So if you're new on the call, again, we welcome you. We're so happy that you're a part of our Monday night trading call. And again, this is completely interactive. So what that means, like Kenya, I know you're Kimberly, Deborah, Miss Brenda, of course, anybody, you can unmute yourself, ask a question. We'll be more than glad to answer that question. And trust me, if I don't know it, I'll tell you, I'll get back to you on it. Or one of the other leaders that's on the call might be able to go ahead and answer it. So this is kind of our study group here. Doesn't mean that I'm here to teach you everything. It just basically means we want to kind of iron out some of the things that have been maybe holding us back in our trading system. Okay. And so I definitely want to encourage you, if you're watching this Facebook Live and you're interested in foreign exchange trading, but you just haven't found the right team, you don't have the right mentor, or you just haven't got the right knowledge, we definitely encourage you to take a look at our Team Wealth Builders, because again, we are part of the I Am Mastery Academy, which is an excellent premier educational platform to teach you everything you need to know about foreign exchange trading. All right, so let's look at my MetaTrader 4 here. All right, and so Kenya, I'm gonna kind of pick on you just a little bit, and I'm just gonna kind of go over some features to show you how to set up your MetaTrader 4. Please write it down, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, or feel free to get with me after the class, and I'll be more than willing to work with you to make sure that your MetaTrader 4 is properly set up. But basically, guys, for those who are new, I know this may be elementary for a lot of you, but I just want to kind of touch base. This is one of our strategies here. Let me switch. If this will let me switch out here. Okay. All is well. Good. Great to hear that. So I'm going to switch to something a little different. This is our BYOB strategy here. Okay, so how I set this up, I know some people have reached out to me and said, Shawn, how do I set up the candles on here? So what I do first and foremost to get this particular screen is I put my cursor anywhere in the middle of the screen, I right click, and it pops open this window here, and it says properties. Okay, and what I do is I set this up this way so you guys can kind of look and see how I have my screen set up. I have my background is black, my foreground, I have it as blue or white, whatever works for you. I took the grid off so I don't have those lines that are here. And what I did to set this particular strategy up, because we have what we call Heikin-Ashi candles, okay? These are a different form of candles. So I took off my bar up and bar down. They all switched to none, okay, right here. And of course I have my line graph of lime, my volume is off to, and then I have my ask line and my stop levels all set to red. So if you're looking to set up your screen just to get the basics, you might want to take a snapshot of that. Of course, if you're setting it up regularly, let me switch this to another strategy like the Ichimoku cloud. Let's switch it to that. I'm going to show the properties here. So this is a little different. So this is possibly where you want to set up your chart here as a basic foundation. Is I have my background the black, my foreground still white, or it says Alice blue, no grid because I don't like the grid lines. For my bar up, for when I go into a buy, I make it blue. For my bar down, I make it red. For my bull candle, which is also my buy candle, I make that blue to match the same blue here. And then my bear candle is the same as this bar down, red there. Of course, I have lime green for there, no volumes, and then my ask line and my stop levels are red. Okay, real simple on that. Then you'll okay that. And then what you want to do is after you set that up, you'll want to save that template. You want to save your foundation. And so what I do is I'd hit save template. Actually, let me go ahead and erase part of my screen so you'll see how you can kind of set up just a blank bar here. Okay. So there you go. So I'll have just as the basic setup that you'll get. You just want your red candles, blue candles, or for some of you, you can have these blue candles as green, whatever you like. And again, guys, this is just a basic setup. You don't have to follow exactly mine. Make it any colors that you like, but at least you want something to differentiate your sell candles, which usually are your down candles, and your other candles, which are blue. So what I would do here, which I haven't done before, is I'll hit save the template. And then I'm going to name this one basic. Okay, this is my basic foundation right here. So it saves everything that I have. These other things that you see, these other little tidbits are things that I've added over the years. You don't need to worry about that. But of course, if you're on Team Wealth Builders, we can get that information to you to add these little things that kind of help you with your trade. But this is the basis of what I start with. And then from here, I'm going to add other indicators. So if I want to add, let's say, let's see, Bollinger Bands, I would come here to indicators, trend, hit your Bollinger Bands. They're already preset. I'll hit it, and here's your Bollinger Bands. Okay, and then if I wanted to save that particular strategy of some sort, let's say I start adding things to it, I would come here, and of course I would save that template under another name. I might save this as Bollinger Bands. Okay, just so I use it for that particular strategy. And if I want to remove it, I come here to charts, come to my indicator list. It shows me a list of things that's added onto my chart. I just highlight it and I can delete it, of course, and that will alter my chart again. Okay, so it's very, very simple to set up your chart. And so what you'll do is you'll set up different, what we call strategies, okay? And from those different strategies, you'll have a template already set up. So for me, I have about 4 strategies that I have on my particular chart. A lot of you will have a default where you'll have a list of different strategies that come already with your MetaTrader 4. What I did is I deleted the ones that I actually really don't use so that it's a quick reference for me when I decide I want to jump on a chart. So I don't have to fish through a bunch of different strategies. So when I jump on and I want to use my BYOB strategy, boom, it already comes on, already set up with my P-SARs, my parabolic SARs, and the different candles. That's already set up. And then if I want to use my TWB strategy, boom, it's already set up, has my indicators. Obviously, you see the colors of my candles have changed on this particular strategy because I want these green candles to match these indicator lines here, these signal lines, excuse me, on the bottom. Okay, so that's why I have the colors change. And again, guys, you can change it to whatever you desire. Okay, and then you save those templates. Of course, then I have the Ichimoku cloud. That's a different strategy. And you see that's different. Okay, and so I just save these in here, and depending on, what I'm doing that particular day or a particular strategy that I'd like to show or teach, I already have the template saved. Okay, so that's really the basics of that. And again, there's videos out that'll show you how to go ahead and get it set up. But again, if you're part of Team Wealth Builders, please reach out to me and I'll be more than glad to do a one-on-one to go ahead and get your MetaTrader 4 chart set up. So with that, let me talk about a couple features. I know, again, it's kind of basic for some people, but if you want to add pairs onto your chart, you'll come up here and you'll go to View, you'll come to Symbols, and right here you can choose what you want to add or delete. Okay, you can double click it to add it, and when this turns yellow, that adds that particular pair. Okay, I don't use the dash or the dollar, so I can double click it again and not add that, but that's how I'll add all my pairs, my currency pairs that I wish to trade, add my metals. And yes, you can trade gold, you can trade silver with your metals, you can trade energy, you can trade crude oil. Okay, you can, of course, cryptocurrency. Okay, so all of that is here on my list, and I could trade that at any time and add that to my selection. All right, and so from there, when I want to add, like I added the Hakanashi candles, I know some of you are wondering, well, how did he do that? So what I did is let me go to my BYOB where I used the Hakanashi candles. What I did is I first blackened these out, or I made these disappear. So here in my selection, the bar up, bar down, you see is none. Bull candle, bear candle, I have none here. And then after that's set, over here in this navigator window down here, and how I access that is I hit this yellow folder and star up here, and then it comes with the list of indicators. I'm going to take this Hakanashi and I'm going to click it and drag it on top of my chart. And when I do, it's going to open up another window of some parameters. And then, of course, I will change the colors to correspond. Here, I would have changed it to the blue in place of the white. Same thing here when I come to colors. I'll change the white areas to blue, and then I'll hit OK. And then, of course, I will save this as a new template. Of course, I already saved it at BYOB, and then I already have this template. Of course, then I will make sure that I add the stochastic here on the bottom. And it's already defaulted, so I don't need to make any changes. I just need to add this indicator on the bottom. And how I add that, I come to the Insert, Indicators. This is going to be an oscillating indicator. Come down here to stochastic, and then I'll click that, and this will come up on the bottom. Okay? So that's just a couple of the strategies there and how to properly set up your MetaTrader 4. So now here's a question that was earlier. How, if I decide, Shawn, hey, I want to look at different time frames, or I want to look at multiple pairs at the same time. So let's say we're on the London session, which is my favorite session. I tend to get up, it starts at 3 a.m. in the morning Eastern time and goes for 8 hours till about 11 o'clock in the morning. And so, of course, that's the London session there. And so I might want to trade GBP JPY. And let's say I want to add another pair to it. So let's say I decide to do Euro JPY. So I'll come over here to the side. I'll click this. It'll say chart window. I'll open up a chart window. Okay. And this will come here. It's already, this is the default setting or the default template that the MetaTrader 4 already has. What I do is come to my template up here, and I have my list of templates, and then I decide which strategy I want to use. Okay, so I want to use, let's say, the BYOB strategy on this. Okay, and then I have that set. Let me make sure I'm not missing any questions. Okay, thank you so much. Good, make sure. Again, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to just unmute, and you can interrupt me. It's not a problem. This is an interactive call. I want you to learn. So let's say I have that, and now I want to show both pairs because I'm looking at both pairs. So I would hit this little box right here with the 4 little boxes inside the one box. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 icons over from the right. I hit this, and look what it does. It cascades my windows. Okay, and you can cascade as many as you like. Let's say I'm doing another pair. I'm going to do CAD JPY. So I open up this window. Okay. This one, I'm going to go ahead and put the BYOB strategy on that one too. I hit the cascade window. It adds that. I want to add another one. Let's do, I say Euro odd. I open that. Let's say I want a different strategy. I'll do the Ichimoku cloud on that one. I hit my cascade window. Boom, I have 4 charts now. And you can go on and on and on. And it'll continue to add as many charts. If I want to go ahead and look at this particular one because it's moving, I'll just go ahead and hit this middle box right here and it expands it. Okay. When I want to go ahead and make it smaller again, I just hit the cascade box and boom. Okay. It just evens out everything. Let's say I want to look at different time frames. I think Miss Betty, you asked about that. So let's say on this particular one, I want to have this on a 5-minute chart. So I switch that. I highlight this one. I'm going to close it and I'm going to open up another GBP JPY because let's say I'm really focused on this pair. I'm really wanting to zero in just on this particular pair. Where's my GBP? Okay, GBP JPY. So I open up another window. Boom. I'll go ahead and add that BYOB, but this time I want this on the 15-minute. All right, so not a problem. This one, I'll close that one. And let's see, let's close this one. So I'm going to put all JPY. So I'm going to do that. All right, I'm still doing the BYOB on that one. BYOB on this one. Cascade it. This one's 5-minute. This one, I'll make this one, let me see, make that one 15-minute, make this one an hour, and make this one my 4-hour. Okay, so now I'm really homed in. I'm maybe looking for a perfect entry here on the 5-minute. Okay, maybe I want to go ahead and do that and say, man, I'm looking to see what it's doing on the 5-minute. But then I'm really trying to take my take profit. Maybe I'm doing it on the 15-minute. Okay, so I kind of home in on this one and say, man, let's see what it's doing. All right, but then I want to see on the long term. I say, you know, let's see what the hour chart is doing. Okay, the hour is still in an uptrend. Okay, that's pretty great. Let's see what it's going to do on a 4-hour. Boom, it's still on an uptrend on the 4-hour. Great. So I can confirm that I want to enter a precise entry on my 5-minute if that's where I want to, you know, trade. Okay, so just an easy way to do that. Okay, and then of course, you know, you have all these on the side. You have your bid price, ask price already showing there. Okay, down here, of course, it shows my balance, account history on my past trades. Okay, it will show me that. Any news, I can have it set up for that, for news alerts down here. Any special alerts that I have set up, any mailbox and such, I can have all that down here. Okay, so now, of course, I showed, let's say, how to put in a trade. Let's say we're trading from this. So right here, I'm on GBP JPY. I select the new order up here. It's going to verify the symbol. Somebody have a question?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
So my question is there a certain strategy that you use for different pairs?
No. I'm pretty consistent. I may toggle between 2 different strategies. Again, it just kind of depends on what I'm using. And the strategies that I use are really tied to an IM Mastery Academy tool. So when I use the Harmonic Scanner, which I'll bring up here, I use the BYOB. So of course, that's going to look exactly like my Harmonic Scanner. So what I see on the Harmonic Scanner that's giving me the trade signal, I want it to match exactly what I'm seeing on my MetaTrader 4 so that I'm really making a decision in real time.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. And then
Thank
let's say I'm trading with Dr. Kathy Kirkland, awesome educator in IM Mastery Academy. She uses the Ichimoku cloud. So of course, when she's training on her trainings, I want my chart to match what she sees. So then I could switch right to the cloud so I can see when she's training her strategy. Okay.
Yes, thank you. I get it.
Fantastic. All right. So again, I put in a new order. I just select that window up here. I'm gonna always verify that that is the pair that I want, especially when I have different windows up. I always want to double check, make sure that's the pair. If it's not, I can always let this down, select the pair that I want. your volume or your lot size goes here. I always put in a stop loss here, put in my take profit. And then right here, you select what type of transaction do you want. Do you want a market execution or an instant execution? Do I want to jump in the trade right this second? Or do I want a pending order? And again, for those of you who are busy or work 9 to 5 jobs, or you feel like, hey, I'm working in 2 jobs and I do Lyft and Uber and I only have a small amount of time, but the trade looks really good, you can delay the trade in the future. You could put in a pending order where, let's say you go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, but you looked at the market and you said, man, when it gets to this point, I wanted to jump in this trade, so when it goes up in a buy, I can make money and I don't even have to watch my chart. So you could set up a pending order, okay, so that when it hits that mark while you're driving in traffic, while you're clocking in at work, while you're sitting there on the phone doing what you're doing, guess what? It'll get you into the trade automatically and it'll go up to hit your take profit, and you can make money while you're at work, while you're traveling, while you're doing whatever busy thing that you're doing. So a lot of people have the myth that you have to sit in front of the charts all day long and watch it. You don't have to do that, guys. That's the great thing about Forex is you can set up pending orders, okay, so that when it gets to certain levels or certain price points, it'll kick you into the trade. And you also set up your stop loss to protect you in case it goes the opposite way. And you also set up your take profit. So when it goes up, maybe 10 pips, 20 pips, 50 pips, 100 pips, it'll automatically hit that point, close the account, and deposit the money in your broker account once the transaction ceases, okay? So again, Forex trading works for whatever lifestyle that you have. You don't have to be in front of the charts every day, okay? So that's the great part there. So let's see, that's putting in a trade. That's kind of how to set it up. There's a few things here up on the top. If you want to switch from candles, which these are candles, and you want to switch to something else, okay? Let's see, those are lines. Oh, I'm sorry, it won't let me change these Hakanashi candles. Let me switch to something else so I can really show that. Okay, let's switch there. There you go. So I can switch to these type candles. I can switch to line. So there's different options that you do there. I don't often switch it. Of course, we have a magnifying glass. If I want to zoom in, I can. For those people like me that wear glasses, a little hard to see, I can go ahead and zoom out, of course. Again, our cascade key over here, I can lock my screen, or I can also advance it if I want to move it over. Obviously, I don't want my candles to be under the numbers. So a lot of times I always advance it over to the left so I could see. Of course, here, this is the same as these toggle switches here with the time frames. I can switch to what time frame I want to see right here. And then, of course, my templates. And over here, this is what you call an instant trade button right here. So instead of hitting new order, I could jump into trade automatically just by hitting the buy or hitting the sell, making sure that my lot size is correct, and it'll automatically put me in the trade right then and there. And of course, if you want to get out of a trade, you can immediately close the trade. And how you would close the trade, all your trades show up here on the bottom of your screen. And then there's a little X that'll be there, and you just hit the X and it will terminate the trade. So I'll jump in real quick for demonstration purposes. I'm going to do a quick sell. Let me see how we looking. Let me see. Let me get to my 5 minute. Let's see how the numbers are moving. What I do is I kind of glance. It's not really doing anything. Let's go to a pair that might be moving. Let's see, USD JPY. Let's see, maybe there's a little activity right here. All right, so this one, not really moving, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit a buy. Let's say I do 0.05 is my lot size. Okay, I hit buy. It's gonna ask me, since this is a newer account I set up, it's gonna ask me for permission the first time. So I hit it, boom, I'm in the trade, okay? The great thing here is a lot of people are like, man, Shawn, you know, how do I know where my take profit is or whatever? So what I can do is I take my entry line here, I click and grab it, and guess what? I push it up. If you notice over here, let me go over here, follow my arrow, all the way right here, it tells me how many pips I want for my take profit. If I decide I want it at 20 pips, I set it right there, I let it go. It locks me in. And guess what? When I click my arrow on the red line, you see this little window open. it tells me how much money I'm going to make on that trade with that particular lot size. I'm going 20 pips, 20.6 pips. I'll make $9.50 on that particular trade. You know, the next question is people ask, well, how long does it take? Well, it matters on how volatile or how much activity is going on in the market. You already see my plus right here. This is my pip indicator. So as the number goes up, it's going to get me closer to that 20. When it goes all the way to 20, that means it's going to hit my 20.6, will hit my take profit, and then I'm set. The same thing if I want to set my stop loss, I want to grab it and I go down the opposite direction of what I chose. So I come here, let's say I do a 20 pip stop loss. I come over here again. It's kind of clouded in here, but you can see right here where my arrow is. I hit the number 20.0, let it go. So I now have my stop loss. Okay. I want to give it room for it to swing. Okay. For it to swing. I don't want to immediately kick me right out the market. But though, you know, some people, if you feel it's going a certain way and you really want to minimize your risk, you can put your stop loss right up to it if you want to. It's totally up to you. Okay, nothing wrong with that. So if it goes the opposite way and I don't want to lose that much money, guess what? Boom, it'll hit it and close it out, and then I'll just wait. But sometimes I like to let it breathe a little bit, because just like here, you see it went up, it did a little pullback. Okay, that means it went the opposite direction. And it still continued up. So you want to give it a little room to kind of swing. Okay, that's what we call swing trading. You want to swing a little bit. All right, so that it'll come up, hit my take profit, so I can make that $9 right there. Okay, and again, it matters on the volatility of the market. This could happen, you know, this candle right here could shoot right up, and that could happen in less than, you know, 5-10 minutes. It might take maybe an hour. Maybe it'll take 2 or 3 hours to get up there. It just depends on the movement of the market. Right now, the market isn't moving quite as fast, okay? Because over in Europe, this is kind of, or the Asian market, this is kind of like their lunchtime period right now. So the market's moving a little slow. So of course, this is what's you know, what's going on. As people return in those Asian countries from lunch, guess what? Look what it's doing. It's going to start increasing in volume. All right. And then, of course, we hope that it hits my take profit. So now if I want to close the trade, okay, down here, just so you understand it, of course, it gives me the receipt, the order number that my broker gets, because your MetaTrader 4 communicates with the actual Trader's Way broker. Okay. This is a communication tool. So you put in the request, okay, kind of like you ever go to a kiosk, like now in McDonald's and Chick-fil-A and all these, they have these little kiosks. Now, guess what? You put in your order in the kiosk, you pay for it, and then you send it. Well, guess what? Somebody receives it and they cook your order, then they either bring it out to you or they go ahead and bring it to the counter and call you. That's exactly what this is. This is that platform where you're putting your order in. So you put the order in, okay? It goes to your broker. They go ahead and execute the order. All right. And then, of course, once it closes, they're going to make sure the money gets deposited in your broker account. Okay. Works the same way. So this is the timestamp. It tells me the type of transaction down here, which is a buy. Okay. It tells me my lot size. Okay. 0.05. If you want to know the actual money that you're making on that particular trade, you take this number and you multiply that times 10 all the time. Okay. So what I explain to people, like in the medical profession, you have the doctor's language, okay, that doctors speak to each other, okay, and then you have the layman terms as far as what's going on, okay? So when you do the lot size is the broker language. This is what the broker understands to distinguish between a micro lot, a mini lot, and a standard lot, okay? So this is 0.05. But in layman terms, when we multiply it, that means that every pip, like you see here, 1.3, that 1.3 is going to equal 50 cents. Okay. And as you see, there's a point there. So you look down here, that's 74 cents in profit I'm in so far. Okay. So we can raise that number. We can decrease that number. It all is contingent about how much money you have in your actual broker account. Okay. So you get to choose that. See, that's the great thing about the foreign exchange market is I can leverage and be aggressive and make, you know, money in a short amount of time, or I can be very, very conservative and just slowly compound my account. All right. And so it tells me my entry price, it tells me a stop loss price right here. It tells me the take profit price. When it gets to this number down here, it's going to close, okay? And then of course the commission. So people ask about, well, you know, what's my commission on that particular trade? Well, you see out of this trade right here, 30 cents out of that goes toward the broker, okay? As this, you know, as this amount increases, that this will increase, okay? This is a percentage, okay? It's a percentage of that particular trade, all right? So you see it's kind of dancing around, waiting to do what it does, okay? And at any time I say, you know what, that's enough. Maybe I don't want to go all the way to the 20 pips. I come right here, hit this X, go ahead and close it. I've now closed the trade. Okay, got a 25-cent profit. Okay, just like that. All right, I can increase that. Okay, I can make it $1. I can make it $10. I can make it $100. I can make it, you know, $1,000 per pip. Okay, I can increase this by $1,000 if I can take the loss. So if I only have $3,000, I don't want to do $1,000 per pip, because if it goes the opposite direction in 3 pips, I'll lose my whole $3,000. That doesn't make any sense. So I want to conservatively grow my account. So I'll probably, you know, keep it at where I can make it at $10, you know, a pip, or $20 per pip, or something like that, so that I can gradually grow that account over time. Okay, this is not a race, guys. This is a way of compounding your account, just like the interest on your home or the simple interest on your car. You know, as each payment, there's interest, and as you continue to make a payment, it decreases that interest and the principal. Okay, but the whole thing is about the interest part, that part that you're compounding your account with. Okay, so you are manually doing this. And the great thing about the I Am Mastery Academy, the education and learning how to do Forex, is you control how aggressively you want to grow this account. You control how much money you want to make today. If you say, I want to make $100 today by learning the education, learning a proper strategy, learning proper risk management, you can go ahead and learn to make $100, $300, $500, $1,000, $10,000 a day. It's totally up to you and your own limitations. Okay? So that's that part. So last thing I'll cover, and then we're going to look at some trades here, guys. If there's no questions, I'll open up for questions, is a trailing stop loss. Okay? So people say, what's a trailing stop loss? So let me introduce the concept. Let's say right here, this green candle continues to keep going up. It just keeps slowly going up, 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 up. And let's say I put in a few trades already, but this time I said, you know what? I don't really care how far it goes up. If it continues to go up, this is going to be what I call gravy. When I mean gravy, like this is going to be extra. This is going to be money I didn't anticipate I could grow. So if it continues in an upward trend, I could set up what we call a stop loss to follow it going up. All right. So for instance, I can set up a 10 pip stop loss. So how this works is every time it goes up, let's say I started at 100 and then it goes to 110. And then it goes to 120. Well, when it gets to 120, my stop loss is going to move from 100 to 110. When I go to 130, the stop loss will move to 120. When it goes to 140, it'll move to 130. But the great thing about it is, let's say the market turns on me and comes the opposite direction. My stop loss will not move. It'll stop at 130, and when it comes down, it'll close out my trade at 130. Well, guess what? I gained from 100 to 130. That's the profit I made, okay? And it'll continue to follow until it turns the opposite direction, okay? And when it turns the opposite direction, it'll close once it hits it. This stop loss will not move. It'll just continue to climb and follow. And then once it turns, it'll stop. So it's like a brace. It'll brace behind you 10 pips, 15 pips, however you want to set it up. Some people do 5 pips. So immediately when it turns around, boom, it just secures the rest of your money. So it's a great way to actually trade when, let's say you're following a trend and you don't know exactly how far it's going to go. Okay? So that's a great thing there. So
May I ask you a question about that, please? Because I've been puzzled about this part. So with the whole trailing stop loss, Are you manually trailing it, like moving manually? I'm sorry, that's my kid in the
Oh, you're
background.
fine.
Are you manually moving the stop loss as the pips go up, or is there a way that you can set it to where it plays the kind of cat and mouse?
Awesome question. That's exactly the next point. You'll set it up automatically so that you don't have to sit there and watch it and manually move it. It'll move on its own. Okay. So I will show you right now. Great question. How we set that up. So let's say I'll jump in this trade. It's going in a buy. I jumped in. I come down here to the bottom where it says stop loss. Okay, come right here. S/L is my stop loss. I'll put my cursor here. I will right click and look what opens. It says trailing stop. Okay, let me go over that again. I'm in the trade. I come to where it says S/L. I highlight this area. I right click on my mouse or my keyboard. It says trailing stop. I come right here and I get to set how far I want it. Now, we're talking pips up here where you see this 0.5, that's a pip. But down here is points, okay? So in actuality, this is really 1.5 pips, okay? And so what you want to do, you don't want to be just 1.5 pip because the second it may pull back, it'll close you out. Instead, I go to custom, okay? And right here, I get to select how many pips. So if I was doing that 10 pips of the cat and mouse, I put 100, okay? And that'll be 10 pips behind. That translates into 10 pips. If I wanted 20 pips behind, or let's say 15 pips, I go 150 and so forth, 200 to do 20 pips. And then I'll hit okay, and it'll be preset. Okay, I don't have a stop loss in now, so that's why I didn't move, but let's set it. I'll set it right here. I'll leave it there. I set a trailing stop loss. I want a custom. I'll do this one, for example. Let's do 20, which is 2 pips. Okay. All right. So right now, let's see. Is it set? I think it's set. Yeah. Okay. So it's highlighted there. So when this moves up, this should move behind it. It's just waiting to go up past this entry point. I'm negative right here. When this goes up 2 pips, or really when it goes to 3 pips, this red line will move above it. Okay, so I have to pass the go part. This is the entry. Has to pass that entry to activate my trailing stop loss. Okay, otherwise it's just gonna stay here where I set it already. Okay, and so just a great tool to use. Again, I use that when I put in my allotted number of trades. Let's say I put in 4 for the day, 5 for the day, 10 for the day. It doesn't matter. Whatever your schedule allows you, I just stick to a round number, and that's kind of a goal that I'm kind of shooting for, to do 3 or 4 trades a day. And then I may have a monetary value that I want. My goal is maybe to do, $500 a day, or maybe it's $1,000 a day. And if my account is big enough, I can maybe get 4 or 5 trades and make that $1,000 a day. Okay. And let's say I just see one good trade. I said, man, this is really moving good. I don't know how far it's going to continue. So why don't I just play it safe and just put a small trailing stop loss? And when it continues to go up, if it turns around, hey, that's great. Let's say I made my $1,000 for the day and this moves up, and I put a trailing stop loss and I gain an extra $75. Okay, just by letting it go. And when it turns around, it just closes it out at $75 profit. It's an extra $75 I didn't anticipate, and I didn't have to watch the market to do it. Again, there's so many little things to help you automate your day so that you can trade without having to be in front of a chart all day long. Because I know that's a lot of concern for people is, do I have to be in front of these charts to do that? No, you don't. I literally probably spend maybe just 45 minutes a day to get my 4 or 5 trades in. So literally, I probably spend less than an hour a day getting my goal in. Okay, whatever my goal is for that day. And so the reason being is I know what my strategy is. I have a plan of attack. I find the most volatile times in my schedule. Each of you have different schedules. So you got to find what's the volatile time in your schedule. Some of you may work third shift. So you may trade the New York session and find a little pocket of time to trade there. Maybe you trade the day shift. So you might find an evening time that may have some volatility. So you narrow that down and you just trade there so that you can go ahead and strategically start growing your account over time. Okay. So that's just a great way to work on trading. All right. So with that being said, let's see, still moving negative, hasn't gone positive, but that's how you set up a trailing stop loss right there. So I'm going to close.
Sorry,
Yeah.
one about that. On the trailing stop, is that a feature only when you're using your computer, going to the web address, or can you use that on the MT4?
As I understand, one, you have to use it on your computer. You can't use it on your phone. I do know that. And as far as the web app, I believe it's a feature on there. I don't use it particularly, but I do have a couple people that use it off their iPad and use it. And I believe that's probably still a feature on the iPad. It may be. So again, that's something to just try. You'll just come here, you'll right click, and it'll tell you. If it says trailing stop, you know you have it. If not, then you know you don't have it. And so then the next thing you would do is you would do it manually. So that's kind of what she talked about. So let's say it moved up. So periodically, let's say I checked it. Let's say I'm shooting for maybe 100 pips. Okay, I'm shooting for 100 pips. I would look at it periodically, maybe every maybe every half hour I'll glance at it on my phone or glance on my computer. And what I'll do then is I'll grab my stop loss and I'll drag it up and put it into the profit mode. And you want to do that. We're not in profit, so it won't allow me to do it. But I would drag it into profit. So it goes from a stop loss to what we now call a stop profit. Took me a while when I was going through the academy because Christopher Terry keeps saying, this is a stop profit, this is a stop profit. I was like, what does he mean by a stop profit? And what that means is once your account balance goes into profit mode, you want to secure that profit. Okay. So let's say your goal is to make $2,000, but you're already $600 up in the trade. So you want to secure that $600. So even if it turns around, you don't lose it. You don't want to lose it. Okay, if it continues up to $700, $800 or goes to $1,000, I'll move it from $600 stop profit and I'll move it to $800 and still give it room to dance around. And then when it goes to $1,500, I'll move it to $1,300. And then of course, hopefully then it will hit my $2,000 mark and then I'm good for the trade. So you can manually do it. Of course, you can also use your trailing stop loss.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Of course.
So how do you, I see the SL, you can add you mentioned the trailing stop loss, but how do you put in a stop profit?
Well, again, it's not something you put on. When this goes into profit, like right now I'm negative 1.8. If this goes to, let's say +3 or +5, I'm in profit mode. Okay. That means I'm in profit. So then what I would do is if I don't have a trailing stop loss, because the trailing stop loss will turn from a stop loss, and by it going into profit and trailing behind it in profit, by definition, and now goes from stop loss to stop profit.
I got it.
To secure your profit.
So the trailing stop loss is something that you can add under any circumstance?
Absolutely.
Even if you're doing a cut and paste type of thing, you can still add it?
Yes, and especially when you are trading, I always encourage that you always have a stop loss. Okay. Now, when you do it on your phone, which of course through the I Am Master Academy, again, for you, for those on Facebook, we have an application that you can download onto your phone. Okay, the MetaTrader 4 platform that you see in front of you, you can put on your phone. There, we have an application that it provides trade ideas to you, and you're able to copy and paste signals into your MetaTrader 4. So just like here on the bottom where it has the stop loss, and if I had to take profit, let me put a take profit there. So if I had to take profit, these numbers will be provided to you through a notification text on your phone. And then from there, you open the notification text, you highlight it, you copy it, and then you paste it right into your MetaTrader 4. So it takes the thinking away. It takes the guesswork away. And then, of course, when it goes to profit, it'll automatically do it. Now, let's say when you're checking your phone, and this goes into profit, of course, you cannot do a trailing stop loss on your phone. So what you would have to do is change the stop loss number. So you would pick a number somewhere while you're in profit and put in the new number. It'll automatically move your stop loss into stop profit. So even if it turns around, you can secure that bit of profit.
Or you can just do it from your laptop.
Do it from your laptop.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
But like I said, for those who don't have a laptop or don't, have it applied on a laptop, then you would have to manually move your stop loss on your phone.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome. All right, so that's kind of just the gist of the MetaTrader 4 there. And then another thing is if you put on a trade here on your MetaTrader 4, then, a lot of times, let's say I have to run to the bank or I have to do something, I can shut this down and it has, the trade's already locked in. I can open up my phone, my MetaTrader 4 on my phone, and it'll have the exact same information so I can follow it. So even if I want to close it on my phone, I can close the trade remotely. Okay. So again, guys, this doesn't tie you to your laptop, doesn't tie you to any location. The great thing is we have so many successful people in IM Master Academy that travel and make money at the same time. So the great thing is you don't have to be restricted to anywhere. We're over 120 different countries overseas, all 50 states of the United States. So you can make money anywhere. And anybody from any of those countries can also participate in the foreign exchange and cryptocurrency market and do the same thing. Of course, there's already millions of people that are trading. It's just a matter of whether they're trading with the proper education or if they're trading with the proper tools or some of the artificial intelligence tools that we have, over 14 different tools to help assist you in your trading. All right. So that's the part there. Okay. So obviously we're still dancing around. Not a lot of activity that's going on right at the moment. All right. So what I'll do is I'll close that trade, or I'll just leave it for right now. Does anybody have any questions? If you don't have any questions, then we're going to look at real quick again, just what the trading system is that I use to look at entering trades. And then if we do see something, then great. We might be able to catch a couple pips. If not, we're not going to force it, because the whole thing, guys, about trading is you want the trades to come to you. You want to find the optimal trades with great volatility, the trades that look good to you with minimal risk as much as possible. Okay. And then you want to jump in, get your pips, and get out of the market. Okay. So any questions? Anybody have any questions at all?
Yeah, well, my questions are going to be completely newbie because I've never done this before. So like in the beginning, when you were talking about like you picking this trade, how do you determine whether you're doing minute, 15 minutes, M50? How do you determine all that?
That's great. I mean, that's first of all, on one of our tools, and let me show you our tool. Let's see. I'm going to show the Harmonic Scanner. Let's see. All right, let's see. Let me stop and start. All right, so can you see the screen here?
Yes.
Fantastic. So this right here, let me kind of get it in its original state. Let's see. I'm going to see if it'll let me refresh it. Okay, cool. So this, of course, is our Harmonic Scanner, which is IM Master Academy's flagship artificial intelligence software. I call it really the virtual assistant for trading. This is your virtual assistant. And so guys, banks, a lot of banks have software like this to help them trade. A lot of commercial retail traders have some sort of software like this. Here, Christopher Terry developed this. It took him a number of years to perfect this tool. And of course, by being part of IM Master Academy, we now have it. So what this does right here, Nicole, is it already scans the market, okay, for what we call harmonic patterns, okay, which is really waves or turns in the market, okay? And so it picks up the pattern, all right, and it tells you that basically a reversal in the market is going to happen, okay? So it just picks it out for you. So over here on the side, the brokers each have different signals that are processed through the software. And then as a potential signal comes up, it'll pop up here and tell you already the pair. So you don't have to figure that out, okay? So it pops up. This one here is CAD, It tells you right here in the middle, tells you the broker, trader's way. This is the pair that we're looking at. And it tells us the time period that it has found this reversal on, which is on the M15. And basically that just means that every candle, it takes 15 minutes of trading to make that particular candle. So right now, this is what it looks like for 15 minutes of trading. As you see, it's very small candle, which means not a lot of volume and trading is going on right now. Okay, that's what that tells me. But the great thing is, if you look here on the side, it already tells you what your entry points are. It gives you your take profit for you, so you don't have to figure it out. Okay, right here, take profit 1, take profit 2, take profit 3, and then our stop loss is already given to us. So we don't have to figure that out. So just think how much easier it is that a newbie just like you can start today and literally start trading, in the next, 48, 72 hours once you understand how to use this information. This is the information that you plug into those spaces that I told you, where it said S/L, that's your stop loss. You would jump in the trade, so you don't have to worry about putting an entry because you can do a market execution and jump right in. But if you wanted to do a pending order, this is how you would do a pending order. What you would do is you would jump into your MetaTrader 4 and you would select pending order, and then you'll put this green line as your entry. So basically, when this red line right here touches this green line when it's coming down, because the red signifies that the price is going downward. When it touches this, it's going to enter us into the trade here, and then we select either take profit 1, 2, or 3 to where we want to make our money. So if we want to get out of here, then we'll make the money between this point and take profit 1, or between this point and take profit 2 or 3. Or you could put in all 3 trades. You could put in 3 separate trades, and then you make money on this trade. You can make money on the second trade, and if it reaches all the way down to the third, you make money there.
So how do you do your trailing stop loss in this scenario?
Well, remember, this right here just provides us the information. You're not doing any trading on this. This is just giving you information. So it's just like your GPS in your car. The GPS in your car doesn't drive the car, you drive the car. Okay, but what it does is it just gives you information as far as the direction that you're going.
Okay.
Okay, does the same thing. So this is the GPS for trading. Just think of that.
Okay.
So on your MetaTrader 4, that's where you do the actual driving. That's the car part. So think of this as your GPS, and then the car part is your MetaTrader 4. You're driving it there. You put in the trade, you put in the numbers, you close the trade. All of that happens in your MetaTrader 4. This just gives you the information.
Okay.
Okay. And so we've had great success in our company with people using this tool right here. And again, very easy to use. You can add different strategies to it. Like I showed you the BYOB. So I already have a template saved. I can just load my chart. See right here, it says BYOB. I also have my TWB strategy. I select it and it saves the template here. See, so it switches, and then I hit my CAD JPY, and look, I got my my BYOB strategy already set up here. Already have the indicator here, already have this. So I already preset that up, and I can save as many templates as you want. If you want 100 different templates, you could save it. And as you decide to use that particular strategy, you can use it in conjunction with the Harmonic Scanner. Okay. And so this Harmonic Scanner scans 24 hours a day, 5 days a week that the market is open. It also scans for cryptocurrency too, okay? And during the week that it's open. And again, you can mix strategies with it, but it already gives you all your information you need, so you don't have to figure that part out. And so that makes—
I have a question.
Yes.
So it seems like you're using the Harmonic Scanner alongside with the other strategies as different confirmation checks.
Totally correct. That's it. What I like to say is this, and of course we have a number of other tools like our web analyzer, or excuse me, our Vibrata is what it's called. these are kind of intuitive tools. And what I like to say is each tool kind of caters to the type of trader that you are. And as you advance in your knowledge and your skill set, you can move from one tool to another. Or you may just fall in love with that particular tool and never have to advance to anything. So this one is great, especially for the beginning person, because again, you don't have to figure out what numbers to put in. It already gives you that. But let's just say you decide, I don't want to necessarily use these numbers. Okay, let's say I want to just go in between. That's okay too. So for example, this is just can be used as a reference. No different from your GPS in your car. Just because it gives you the address to your mama's house, and let's say it gives you the freeway way, let's say you decide you want to go the back way. You say, you know what? I know the GPS says that, and I wanted to get in that direction because I didn't know how to go from my friend's house to my mama's house. But now that I'm closer to my mama's house, I'm going to go the back way because I don't want to get on the highway because it's traffic time. You use this the same way. Even though this may come down to take profit one, I don't have to necessarily go all the way down here to take profit one. Maybe I just want to make, let's say, $300. When it comes down to $300 in my account, I can close it out and say, great. I kind of knew it was headed that direction because the Harmonic Scanner told me it was heading in that direction. So I used it. I made my 300. I'm good. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, with that being said, I saw one of your YouTube videos where you were talking about compounding and how your goal is to do 4 trades a day. And on each trade, you go in a little bit higher when you're doing your compounding, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, with this example here, there are 3 different take profits.
Mm-hmm.
So would you apply that same method to this, or was this just one trade with 3 take profits?
No, I would apply that same concept here because in that chart that I use, that growth chart that I use, I'm going 10 pips at a time. So I'm going to use my measuring tool and just give you an example of how I would use it. So let's say I take my measuring tool, I come here from this entry right here, and I tap and I come all the way down to this first take profit. So to this first take profit is 31 pips, okay? So if it touched that green entry and it was headed down 31 pips, what I would do is I would break it up in 10 pips at a time. So as it comes down, my first take profit would be 10 pips. So let's just say I use, let's see, I come here, I come down 10 pips right there, boom. That's my first trade. So I would have my lot size, let's say was 0.05, okay? So then it's still continuing down. So I enter a second trade. I come down, whoops, come down a second to 20 pips. So boom, I come to 20 pips. Okay, it hit that. So at this point, I would enter another trade at 0.07. Okay, and then I'd enter that third trade, come all the way to the 30 pips right here. Boom, I hit that one, and that was at 0.09. So you see, same amount of pips, I just broke it up. And what I did is every 10 pips, I just kept upping my lot size. So let's say on the first trade, let's say I made $100. On the second trade, made $120. On the third trade, made $30. So now I put in 3 trades, but look how I compounded it. So instead of doing one trade where it was just one lot size, I use the power of compounding by upping that lot size and breaking up in 3s. And then of course, if it continues going down, if I went in for a 4th time, I would switch that to maybe 0.10. So that's $1 per. And so let's say on that trade, I made an additional $30 or something. So what I'm saying is first trade, I made $10. Second trade, I made $20. Third trade, I made $30. Okay, so that's $60 right there that I brought my account up, because I broke it up in pieces and I upped the lot size, okay? Does that kind of explain? I know that sounds a little...
Actually, you're really a smart person.
I try.
I never thought about that, because you see so many videos and people are like, that's fire. I'm sorry, you guys. You see so many videos where people are like, well, this is how you could catch 50 pips and this is how you could catch 100 pips. And that's cool. But even on a trade that was 100 pips, you could have capitalized 10 different times off of that using your strategy.
Absolutely.
So I could complete my whole day of, if I go in with the mindset that you have, where the goal is 4 pips, 4 trades a day, 10 pips a trade, I can get all that with one trade. I was thinking that I had to find, like, scan the market and look for different pairs, but based off of this method, I see that I don't have to do that.
Nope, you don't. I can get my 4 trades right out of this one pair just from this one move, and I didn't even surpass take profit 1. Okay.
Yeah, that is so genius.
Now, the last thing I'll quote.
Shawn.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I really greatly appreciate that. Trust me, I learned it from the Academy educators. We have some awesome educators in the IM Academy. So a lot of people ask, okay, Shawn, well, let's say I joined IM Master Academy, a couple years ago, and the Harmonic Scanner was crap. It wasn't on point. It wasn't doing whatever. And that's what people will say. Like any other software, it's going to improve over time. I'm going to say, and I'm going to challenge it here on this Facebook Live, I'm going to look at the last, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trades that you see on the left, the right-hand side right here, where it says these numbers, these letters, excuse me, CADJPY. And what I want to do is we're going to look at it and see how many times has it reached take profit 1. Now, for me, when I trade, I'm particularly only concerned with going from an entry point to take profit 1. The reason being because of my familiarity with the Harmonic Scanner, that the odds are great. It's usually, and I mean, don't quote me, but it's usually somewhere between 80 to 85% a success rate that I'm going to go ahead and hit this take profit 1. Okay, so I'm going to look at it, and we're going to go and take a look. How many times has it hit take profit 1? Now, it may not always get to take profit 2. It's usually 50% of the time that it may hit take profit 2, and it's usually about maybe 33 percentile or so that it may hit take profit 3. So knowing those averages, I want to set myself up for the best possibility to win. So I pretty much know that if I can have a 8 out of 10 success rate, then I'm going to try to always make my trades in between my entry to my take profit 1. So let's take a look here. So odd CAD, I'm going to hit that. Let's look here. So it went from entry, this bottom green, and look, it hit take profit 1. So that's 1. I need somebody to keep a track of this. So that's 1 trade. Go to the second one. Okay. Here's the entry. Whoops, clear that. So from entry, take profit 1 and take profit 2. And a hair, it almost touched take profit 3. So that's 2 trades. Let's go to NZD CAD. Went from entry, take profit 1, 2, and 3. So it did hit to take profit 1. So that's 3 for 3. USD JPY. Okay, this one's still working. So this one came down, didn't hit. Okay, so that's 1 not. So we're 3 and missing 1. So let's go to Euro odd. Okay, D. Nope, hadn't make it. Actually hit a stop loss. So that one didn't work. Euro CAD. Okay, this one went from entry, take profit 1. Very close. Looked like here it might have touched take profit 2. Let me blow that up. So let me. No, so barely touched right here. It touched take profit 2, but we can confirm it did hit take profit 1. Let's go here to NZD. Entry, take profit 1, take profit 2. USD CHF, take profit 1 and 2. Let's keep going. Let's see. Okay. Entry, take profit 1. Then go take profit 2. Entry, take profit 1. How many is that? Anybody? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10. I missed 2. How many was that? 8. 8 hit take profit 1 out of 10. What y'all think about that?
That was kind of fast, but okay.
What was kind of fast?
The whole session, the whole process that you just went through, counting all of them, but it's okay. I'll get it in time.
Yeah, I mean, I just went from the green line to this first take profit one, and what I was seeing is the candles touching it to actually make a valid trade that I would go to take profit one. And the reason being is at least 80% of the time, I'm going to hit that take profit one. I may not hit take profit two or three, but I can pretty much almost guarantee that if with the right confirmations, okay, I can pretty much make it to take profit one. And if I do that, what I'm saying is using the harmonic scanner itself, you're going to win more than you lose. And that is the key to trading, guys, that you're winning more than you're losing. You're not going to win every single trade. I mean, it would be great if you do. Some of you are going to do great doing that. And there are some people that have done, 1,000 trades and no losses because of their particular system. But we're not professional traders. We're not expert commercial traders. The thing is, we're just trying to grow our money. But you have a tool in I Am Master Academy that you saw out of 10 trades, at least 8 of those out of the 10 hit is take profit one with no fault. And I mean, we can go on. Euro JPY went from entry to take profit 1 to 2, and eventually made it to 3. Euro GBP hit entry, hit take profit 1, 2, didn't make it to 3. Gold. A lot of people like trade gold. Let me see, will gold show up? Ooh, looking kind of funny. Okay, so it's not showing that signal already expired. But that was an additional what, 12? 12 of them. So out of 12 of them, 2 of them just didn't hit. Okay, so Joan. Okay, so between the parabolics and Bollinger Bands, which setup do you prefer? I mean, I don't really, of course you see here on the BYOB, the parabolic, I don't use the Bollinger Bands any longer, but I have. I think both of them are great. I think all strategies are great if you know how to use them properly. And what I mean by using them properly is I like to look at the intention of why that indicator was made and use it for its pure purpose. Okay? So if it's, to indicate certain things by definition, then I use it for that. I don't try to manipulate it for other things because each indicator has its own job or intention. And if you keep the purity of that intention and use it accurately, I think you'll be successful using whatever strategies that you like to use. That's my personal opinion. Any other questions? Let's see. Okay, do you receive alerts similar to vibrata? I believe this can be set up to send messages to your phone. Somehow that is a way to set that up. I don't have it that way because I particularly am, stationary, so I can kind of watch it from time to time myself. So, but there is a way that you could possibly do that. Great question. Anything else? Okay. Does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask regarding the Harmonic Scanner, the MetaTrader 4, setting up, anything of that nature?
Shawn, this is Trudy. I have a question about the trailing stop. You gave an example about compounding to the 10 pips between the entry and the first take profit. Would you be doing a trailing stop as you take profit for the 10 pips at a time? Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, I particularly wouldn't use a trailing stop on just 10 pips. For me, I use a trailing stop when it's a greater amount. If it's, for me, if it's maybe, I don't know, 40 pips or more, I may use something like that. And again, that's for my personal preference because I'm usually stationary. Because I'm only going 10 pips at a time, those trades are usually going pretty quick. I usually don't have to wait longer than 10, 15 minutes to get 10 pips.
Right.
So I don't necessarily have to have a trailing stop loss for that. Again, if I'm going greater than that, then I may may use that.
Okay, can you give an example of what are the advantages and disadvantages of using a pending order versus a trailing stop?
Let's see. Okay, so a pending order, of course, by definition, is going to be that you're setting this trade up for a later time when it hits a certain price. And you actually can do both, to tell you the truth. You can have a pending order and set up a trailing stop loss. But again, I use the trailing stop loss for longer term trades that I don't want to necessarily sit and watch. The trades are already going, so I will set up a trailing stop loss for it to continue to go. That's how I use it. As far as pending orders work great, especially with the Harmonic Scanner, because you don't have to watch it. You don't have to. You can put in, you can put in these 3 trades and have it all pending. And you see how this red candle is starting. Like most of us, like some of you are going to bed. Okay, you can put this price in, okay, as a pending order, put in your take profit. I probably put my stop loss where this old entry was, and then just let it go. And I'd go to sleep. Okay, don't have to watch it. Don't worry about a trailing stop loss, anything like that. And then when I wake up, if it hits, great, I'm in profit. You can set up a trailing stop loss with it if it's big enough. I mean, again, if I'm only going maybe 12 pips, I don't need a trailing stop loss behind it. If this was, let's see how many pips this is, just in theoretical theory. Let's see in theory. All right, so this is 23 pips. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do a trailing stop loss for that. I would just kind of let it go. But
right. So if I'm understanding you correctly, it's to protect your account in the event, like, let's say you're not able to watch it, or you're not stationary.
Correct.
And your movement, or you're at work, or you're doing something, you're busy. You can protect your account by setting it up that way.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome. So welcome.
Shawn, do you have like oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. Nicole, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Trudy. Do you have like a you were talking about I think you said 4 trades a day and 10 pips a trade, doing every more activity within that one trade. Do you have like a trading plan template where you can kind of track what you want to go for daily when you're trading?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a growth plan template that I've shown, and you might have seen in one of my other videos. But yeah, we have that, and of course, you being a part of the team, you will go ahead and share that with you, and it definitely outlines what trade you're going to do. You can it's an Excel sheet, so you can have your starting amount. Of course, the percentage of growth that you like to have. If you like to have a 5% growth per transaction, 10%, 12%, it's totally up to you on how you want to grow. And then, but for every transaction, you're growing it by that amount. So just imagine that your regular bank account, obviously, as we talked about, you put some in your checking savings account, you're only getting, less than 1% growth on that checking account for the year. But imagine taking your same money that you have in your checking account, putting in your Forex account, and you could get 10 or 12% every time you trade. So if you're doing 4 trades a day, the first trade, I'm growing it by 12%. The second trade, I grow it by another 12%. The third, I'm growing by another 12%. And then the fourth, I'm growing by another 12%. So if you blasted your mutual fund, you blasted your 401k growth, you blasted your check account or whatever, your Vanguard aggressive account, you passed all those. You surpassed it because you can control the aggressiveness of growth in your account.
Okay. So that's something that you'll send out, or?
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. That makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Fantastic.
Okay, Shawn, something that I've been confused about. I've done most of the trading that I've done in the past on my phone, not my computer, so using my MT4 app. And I was I know calculate the pips when I'm entering in.
I'm sorry, who's
Question
that?
is,
I
how
can't hear,
long
Shawn.
does it take?
Okay, think I got it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
How long does it take to obtain 10 pips? Like if you're trying to shoot for 4 trades a day or 40 pips a day, maybe doing 4 different trades, should we know we get out of that trade? You know what I mean? Like if 10 pips
Okay.
came in.
I'm sorry, Latia, your signal was kind of broken up. If I understand, your question is, if you jump into a trade and you're shooting for 10 pips, how long could it take to get those 10 pips or execute those 4 trades?
Correct.
I mean, it definitely matters about the volatility. And again, you're going to learn that word more and more as you're in the I Am Master Academy. And so volatility, just in simple terms, just mean the action, the movement of the market. So for example, and what I use, and everybody who's on the team kind of knows I like using this example, it's like going to Walmart. If I go to Walmart between the hours of 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at just about any Walmart in the United States, that's a high volatility hour, 2 hours. And that means there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of transactions going on in the Walmart all around the United States, because that's when people get off work. That's when they're coming and they're shopping and getting their dinner and all that other stuff. And so that's a high volatility. So if I were to say, look, I want to see how quick you can make $1,000 in this period, how many sales can add up to $1,000 between that 5 and 7, you'll be hitting that rather quick. But if you go at first morning when the store opens up and there's only a couple people in, how long will it take to add up $1,000 in sales? It might take a couple hours. You see what I'm saying? So when you trade, you want to find the volatile periods that you can jump in the market so that you can get those 10 pips pretty quickly. Okay. I don't want to try to get $1,000 from Walmart when the store's about to close, or I don't want to get it, right when the store opens up. I want to wait for a time period where a lot of people are trading, a lot of activities going on. So as you study the I Am Master Academy and as you continue in your learning curve, okay, you're going to discover when you're available what those volatility times are. And once you pinpoint that, that's where you start homing in on your trading to say, you know what, between the hours of maybe 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., it seems like the market's going crazy. So now I'm going to just find the optimal trade and I'm going to jump in for 10 pips. If it's still moving, I'm going to jump in for another 10, another 10, another 10, or however you like to do it. Some people do maybe 2 trades a day. Some do 10 trades a day. It depends on your schedule and your time. So I hope that answers that.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Well, look, I kept you guys long enough. I want to go ahead and close out the call. If there's no other questions, does anybody have any more questions that they need to ask? All right. If not, guys, we're about to conclude this Facebook Live and this wonderful Monday night training. Again, if you're on Facebook and you're checking this out, guys, we want to thank you so much for just reviewing our video. Again, this is Team Wealth Builders. We are a part of Team Wealth Builders. We are under the great tutelage and leadership of Dr. Jewel Tankard, okay? And so she is our chairman leader. And so with that, guys, again, we're going to have a link down below. If this intrigued you, if this interests you, if you feel like, you know what, I think I want to go ahead and learn Forex trading, we have a slew of great leaders here to partner up with. Just go ahead and contact me in the link underneath on my page or inbox me, whatever is convenient for you, and we're going to tie you up with one of the leaders here or tie in our team, and we're going to teach you this skill set by going through the I Am Mastery Academy. Right now, for the next few days, I think up until the 13th of this month, we have an incredible promotion that's going on. To get enrolled into the education, it's $199 down, okay? And it gives a monthly payment of $164 and 95 cents every 30 days. Okay, this gives you access to the education, the educators, and gives you access to use the tools to help assist you in your trading, just like you saw the Harmonic Scanner. Okay, and then from there, we actually offer a way to scholarship your way through the academy. And the way to scholarship through the academy is if you refer two people, okay, to the package to sign up with you, guess what? Then you can go ahead and waive your monthly fee after that, okay? And so guys, we're so excited about the education. Again, we have so many people that are winning or in the process of winning, and we want you to join us, you know, and become a part of our family and get to learn this skill set, because we're setting families free. We're giving them financial education, a way to go ahead and grow that $100 to $200 and possibly get, you know, $1,000, $5,000, whatever your financial goal is. We want to hold your hand and help you out this year to become a part of that. Okay. So with that, again, thank you so much. Every Monday night, we're going to do this. And again, if you have a comment and you like the training, or you learned something, or this is something of interest, please leave a comment on my Facebook page. I'd love to go ahead and hear from you and just provide whatever help and information that I can provide. So with that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and